Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole flock of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So we got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the bishops and elders of great millstone who are well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all Israel, ready to accept it or not. And a sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth and believing this truth, who at the four winds of the earth and the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akwath who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. Masai from GMS Orlando Camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another day of edification, Lord willing to be edified. So I tied this lesson, who will flee, who will you flee to for help in the day of trouble? Who will you flee to for a covering? Talking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And also, bro, when you say for the sisters, it's just Akwath. Elder Apostle Ramla went into this a little while ago, that you don't have to put the yum dealing with the sisters. You don't have to. But anyway, so I was watching Elder Yashawam at the plantation last night, and he went into this lesson with this guy um Claude Schwab, right? And we talk about God is dead, right? So I want to play this clip, and I was reading these precepts. When you read in Isaiah 10, which I'm gonna play the clip first, but I'm gonna deal with Isaiah 10 because these devils got Jake trusting in them, and these devils don't have no covering. It tell you in Isaiah 10, I want to read where they gonna run to, who are they gonna flee to, man? So Jake is trusting in these devils when these devils don't have no covering, man. And the video that LDS woman did, and I also was watching a brother from Australia, and he was doing the lesson. He went into uh Psalms 10 and 4 in the New Test in the NLT, right? And it say they seem to think that God is dead, which I'm going to read, Lord willing. So these devils, they got that saying is they don't that ain't no God, and Jake believe is if it is a God, it's the so-called white man. So let me get this. Let's do this. So this is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit education or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Right? So let me come back to me and get this. Cause this clip, this LDS woman played this last night. Salakia. Let me pull this up. But this devil say God is dead, man. Well, as the brother from Australia put the clip up, these devils saying this, man. He put up that the brother from Australia put up the Psalms 10 and 4. So let me turn this volume down. Let's play this, man. So see these devils, the scripture that say the devil say he's gonna sit on the sides of the north, right? He's gonna control the congregation, right? Isaiah 14, and they do control religion, okay? Right here in Babylon the Great. So let's play this. Check this out.
God is dead. according to the World Economic Forum, who have also declared that Jesus is fake news and that WEF leaders have acquired divine powers to rule over humanity. According to the WEF, a new one world religion has arrived, and it unites all of humanity in worshipping at the altar of climate science, techno-communism, and eugenics. If you find it hard to believe Klaus Schwab's WEF would go this far, you clearly haven't been paying attention to developments in recent times. Klaus Schwab's right-hand man, Yuval Noah Harari, has announced that the WEF has been so successful in its plans that it's acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. The blasphemy doesn't stop there. Harari also promises that the WEF will turn humans into gods.
Developing even bigger powers than ever before, we are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life.
The WEF is also increasingly hostile to Christianity and other major religions. If you read between the lines just a little, it's clear that the WEF is consciously attempting to supplant Jesus.
I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, this, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
According to the WEF, Jesus is fake news, God is dead, and you do not have a soul. You are a hackable animal who does not have the capacity for free will. The World Economic Forum has spent decades quietly infiltrating democratically elected governments, penetrating cabinets, and wielding an outsized influence on the world from the corridors of Schwab's Swiss hideout in Davos.
That we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
These tyrants have now become arrogant and sure of their own success. They are no longer hiding in the shadows and pulling puppet strings from behind the curtain. According to Schwab, it is his role to shape the transformation of the world in the current period. And unsurprisingly, he admires the Chinese system of state-control authoritarianism.
On the G20, you were there meeting some of the leaders as well. Professor Schwab, what do you make of the result? Finally, they put something as a statement, and it seems quite positive with all the voices included.
I think it's positive. It's already positive through the fact that everybody agreed about the statement, which we haven't had the last years. Now the base has been formed, but we have to go one step further. We have to have a strategic mood. We have to construct the world of tomorrow. It's a systemic transformation of the world. So we have to define how the world should look like, which we want to come out of this transformation period. I respect China's achievements, which are tremendous over the last over 40 years. I think it's a role model for many countries.
With world leaders and cabinets firmly under their control, Western democracy has been decimated. Trudeau's Canada has become a wasteland of authoritarian control. Jacinda Ardern's New Zealand is arguably even more tightly controlled by the Davos technocrats. Why should they respect us and our human and constitutional rights if they see us as hackable animals incapable of free thought? Take a look at Brazil for a glimpse of the future. President Bolsonaro's supporters are protesting what they claim to be a wildly unfair and corrupt election. WEF favorite Lula, who hasn't even taken office yet, has already started enacting Klaus Schwab's playbook, freezing the bank accounts of protesters amid a chilling crackdown on freedom of speech and the right to protest peacefully. First Canada, now Brazil. Next, the United States. French billionaire Philippe Argilier claims he has 4 databases that will expose 38 individuals who control the whole world and run the shadow government. Bill Gates, who needs no introduction, is one of those 38 unelected individuals who control the daily lives of 8 billion people. According to Argilier, he can prove the Biden administration takes direct orders from this shadow government.
Mm.
And altogether,
We already
38
know that.
individuals run the daily lives of 8 billion people on Earth. Maria, the shadow government is the entity that is behind most, if not all, elected government that tell them what to do and what not to do based upon geopolitical agreements, most of them anchored in military abroad interventions.
Psalm 64:7 reads, "For power shall shoot at them with an arrow." Matter of fact, let me pull it just so I can read it accurate. Psalm 64. We already know this, man. Everybody's controlled by the shadow government, which is the elites. Psalm 64:7 reads, "But power shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." We already know this. But what we're seeing is these devils is turning on them, man. Okay? What is that? Mark 3, Isaiah 19, Luke 11, right? They have always been a divided house, man.
That's what the shadow government is.
Hmm.
And I can tell you today that the Biden's administration is under the control of the shadow government. I can confirm this without any hesitation based upon the information that I have.
If you
He'll be tapped out soon.
want a sneak peek of the future under this shadow government, it's worth paying attention to Bill Gates' latest announcement. Gates has a history of playing God. Robert F. Kennedy warned us about this trait in Gates' psychology years ago. According to Kennedy Jr., the World Health Organization is conducting global social and medical experimentation in accordance with the vision of their mega donor, Bill Gates, and his religious faith that he can use technology, vaccines, and GMO agriculture to make him the savior of all humanity. Gates' strategy of buying World Health Organization and purchasing control of US health officials like Tony Fauci and Deborah Birx means the Microsoft co-founder can now dictate global health policies affecting 7 billion people and to control the most intimate details of our lives, said Kennedy Jr. on his Instagram page. Just last week, Gates, in his role as false savior, was caught telling world leaders that it's time for death panels to decide who has the right to live and die.
You know, is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion. So you, of course,
Well, that's an interesting thing you just said, which is just the last 3 months in life for one person or something, because we haven't had a discussion of how to allocate that money. It means we lay off 3 teachers to do so. I mean, in other words, we haven't had this type of allocation.
We're making that trade-off because of huge medical costs that are not examined to see which ones actually have no benefit whatsoever. And because of pension generosity, we will be laying off over 100,000 teachers, which, you know, I'm very much against that. And the whole AFT will agree with me on that.
Of course, Gates' death panels have everything to do with the globalist elite's obsession with depopulation. This is the brutal, soulless world Gates and the shadow government at the World Economic Forum are determined to roll out as part of their Great Reset. We can't allow their evil religion to become the new normal. Take a look at one of the videos in the description box below for a deeper dive in these plans. Forewarned is forearmed.
You see, they mentioned there's science, right? Which the brother put up. But let me get it. We go to the blue letter. Let me come back to me. Pull up this blue letter real quick. Because their science is false, man. Let's get this real quick. 2 Thessalonians 2:9. And where these devils gonna hide at, man? Because when he said God is dead, it's plenty of scriptures. I'm gonna get a couple of them. When they said they don't believe in the Lord. So the 2 Thessalonians 2:9, it say, even him who is coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, right? And his lying wonders will be his pseudo signs. Let's get this. G5579.
Strong's G 5579. Pseudos.
See? Perverse, impious, deceitful precepts, a falsehood, lying. Okay? Let's go back to this. So, brother in Australia had pulled this up. I was watching this video he did last night at the plantation. He did yesterday, actually. So, let's start here at 1. It reads, a prayer for the overthrow of the wicked. Why standest thou far off, O Yahweh? Why hidest thou thyself in the times of trouble? The wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord Yahweh abhorred. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, would not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts, right? So in this verse right here, the brother went to this, which is fire, man. So it said in NLT, the wicked are too proud to seek God. They seem to think that God is dead. That's how these devils feel, man. So hold on. Let me go back to this. I just want to play the beginning of this, man. This devil said God is dead. Well, the scripture just said the same thing, man. That's how Esau feel, man. Let's get this again from the beginning.
God is dead, according to the World Economic Forum, who have also declared that Jesus is fake news. And
you see, that's all we need. That's it. God is dead, man. Let me get these precepts. And these devils don't believe in the Lord, right? So if they don't have nowhere to hide, what the hell 2/3 of Jake gonna hide at that trust in the government, man? Let me read this. This is Psalms 10. Isaiah 10. I was reading this. Hey, verse 4 is heavy. Listen to this. Let me start at 1. Woe unto him that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. All so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, we are widows and fatherless, man. Okay? Or at least we was. Verse 3 reads, this is the Lord talking to the so-called white man, because he is the one that write these grievous, that write these unrighteous decrees, right? It say, verse 3, and what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from far? What's coming from far? It tell you that in Jeremiah 50, right? Assemble ye nations. Isaiah 13, when it said the missiles come from far, Isaiah 13:5, right? This is the Lord talking to the so-called white man for what he have done. Listen, it say, Isaiah 10:3, and what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory? Without me, it said, without me, They shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Right? And what will ye do in the day of visitation and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where will ye leave your glory? Remember it's in Isaiah 28 and Ezekiel 28. Let me get this. Ezekiel 28. Just read here, verse 4 reads, with thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver in thy treasure. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, therefore, will I bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. Start with the Russians, right? You got the BRICS nations, and they shall draw their sword against thy beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the depths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God. In the hand of him that slayeth thee, thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord power. So, if the Lord asking these devils, right? Let's read this again in Isaiah 10 and 3. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the day and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where will ye leave your glory? Okay? So, what are these devils going to hide at? The Lord said in Amos 9, it's Amos 9 and 1, I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the post may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. So though they dig into hell in their bunkers, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, right? They got a space station, thence will I bring them down. And I tell you, when you watch this movie, Geostorm, they got a lot of rooms up there at the space station, man. It's like a resort, man, up there. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel in their mountains, they got a mountain carved out. They got mountains carved out. It's I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command a serpent, and he shall bite them. Now, if you got Jake that's trusting in these devils, and these devils don't got nowhere to hide, what's going to happen? This is Job 21 and 13. It reads, they spend their days in wealth, and in a moment go down to the grave. Therefore, they say unto God, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. Right? So if you got these devils, they're saying they don't believe in the Lord. They seem to think that God is dead, right? But you got Jake that's trusting in these devils. Now, this is Jeremiah 42. Now, when you read the story in Jeremiah 24, matter of fact, let me just touch on it a little bit. So in Jeremiah 24, the Lord asked Jeremiah, it say, verse 2. It say, verse 3, then said the Lord unto me, what seest thou, Jeremiah? And I said, figs, the good figs, very good, and the evil, very evil, that cannot be eaten. They are so evil, right? So the Lord said, This is verse 4. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away captive of Judah, whom I sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans, for they are good, right? So the Lord say he sent these basket of good figs for their good, right? So he say, verse 8, it reads, it say verse 7, Now I will give them an heart to know me, that I am Yahweh, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power. For they shall return unto me with the whole heart. And as the evil figs, which cannot be eaten, they are so evil. Surely thus saith the Lord, so will I give Zedekiah, the king of Judah, and his princes, and the residue of Jerusalem, that remain in this land, and them that dwell in the land of Egypt, and I will deliver them to be removed into all kingdoms of the earth, for their hurt to be a reproach and a proverb and a taunt and a curse in all places where I shall drive them. Right? When you go to Jeremiah 42, because this is about the basket of good figs and the basket of evil figs. So this is Jeremiah 42, in verse 11, it reads, it say, Be not afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom ye are afraid. Be not afraid of him, saith Yahweh, for I am with you to save you and to deliver you from his hand. Right? So you had the Babylonian Empire, but now this applies to North America, Babylon the Great. It said, Now I will show mercy unto you, that he may have mercy upon you and cause you to return to your own land. And we know this happened when the Persians and Medes took over, right? And we was able to go back to build a wall. So it say, but if you say we will not dwell in this land, neither obey the voice of the Lord Yahweh your God, showing today this is applied to the 2/3, saying, No, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we shall see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there will we dwell. And now therefore hear the word of the Lord, ye remnant of Judah. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, if ye will set your faces to enter into Egypt and go to soldier there, then it shall come to pass that the sword which ye feared shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine whereof you were afraid shall follow close after you in Egypt, and there ye shall die. So shall it be with all the men that set their faces to go into Egypt to soldier there. It said they shall die by the sword, by famine, and by the pestilence, and none of them shall remain nor escape from the evil that I will bring upon them. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, as my anger and my fury have been poured forth upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so shall my fury be poured forth upon you when ye shall enter into Egypt, and ye shall be an execration and an astonishment and a curse and a reproach, and ye shall see this place no more. So, if the Lord's telling the so-called white man that he don't have nowhere to flee, what's going to happen to 2/3 of Jake, man, that trusting in the government, man? Let's get this. In Jeremiah, and these devils say they don't even believe in God, man. This Jeremiah 15:11. The Lord said, Verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in a time of evil and in a time of affliction. And that's why I said that in Jeremiah 42. Let's read this again. The Jeremiah 42 in verse 12. It say, And I will show mercy unto you, that he may have mercy upon you and cause you to return to your own land. So, now Isaiah 30, it reads this. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go into Egypt, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked in my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Now, in the first verse said, woe to the rebellious children of Yahweh that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with their covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. In Revelation 16 and 15, it reads, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments. What garments? The covering, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So the covering that 2/3 of Jacob is taken and refuse to put off, where are they going to run to, man? This is Isaiah 31. Because the Lord's saying, hey, these devils don't have nowhere to escape to, man. That's why the Lord said, though they flee, right, and climb up to heaven, or go into top of Carmel, or go into the seas, hey, these devils got the money to make it seem like they get to escape, man. But they ain't going to escape. So we trusting in the so-called white man. And the Lord saying, where are you going to flee to? Hey, man, this 2 Corinthians 10 and 5, man. Casting down imaginations, man. This devil got Jake living in an imagination, man. Imaginary world, man. This is Isaiah 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Hey, call out Yahweh Shema Bashah for ice off, man. For seeing through all this madness. Because these devils, hey, Jake don't know what's going on, man. But yet still, Jake still talking about chasing the bag. Jake on videos with money, with the money phone and all this, man. It's Isaiah 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots. It said they go down to Egypt for help. It say, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not to the Holy One of Israel, neither seeketh the Lord. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. So the help of these devils is just working iniquity on Jake, man. It say, now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. They're all going to fall together. This is Isaiah 13 and 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So here is Jake trusting in a government that's going to fail anyway, man. This Jeremiah 17 and 5, it reads, thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, whose heart departeth from Yahweh. You see? Let's get this. This is 1 Timothy 6 and 10. And I say this all the time, man. These devils has programmed us to trust, to chase the bag, man. To get the bag. This is all about get money, man. Get money, everything else follows, man. Well, that's not how the Lord feel, man. This 1 Timothy 6 and 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Right? When you go to the word pierced, let's get it here in the blue letter. This word pierced, man. And it's plain, it says what it says. And have pierced themselves through with many sorrows. And one of them sorrows is piercing yourself with the MOTB, man. Because this is the end goal. If you got money and they make mandatory this digital currency, how you gonna get your money? This is the word pierce in 1 Timothy 6:10.
Strong's G 4044. Peripyro. Peripyro.
It said to pierce through, to torture one's soul with sorrows. Is this not going to happen? It said to penetrate entirely, pierce through, to penetrate, to torture one's soul with sorrows. And we know what it say in Revelation 14, man. So this is Psalms 118. And this devil is programming Jake to trust in the government, which is mind control. This is Psalm 118 and 6. Yahweh is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do unto me? What can man do unto me? The Yahweh Shah said it, man. They can kill us, but they can't destroy our soul, man. They can't take our spirit. Yahweh is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do unto me? Yahweh taketh my part with them that help me. Who? The angels. The Lord Yahweh taketh my part. This is verse 7, Psalm 118 and 7. The Lord taketh my part with them that help me. Therefore shall I see my desire upon them that hate me. Who is them that's on our part? The angels. Okay? Elisha said it, man. There be more with us than be with them, man. Verse 8, it is better to trust in the Lord Yahweh than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes, right? This is, oh, let me go back to this. Listen to this. This is Isaiah 10. Let's go back to this. This is Isaiah 10, right? Let me read this again. It say, verse 3. And what will ye do in the day of visitation and in the desolation which shall come from far? And that's Isaiah 13 and 5. It said, the missiles they come from far. It said, to whom will ye flee for help? This talking to the so-called white man. And where will ye leave your glory? I read Ezekiel 28. The Lord said He's going to send heathen, uncircumcised to destroy these devils. So where their glory going to be left at? Verse 4 reads, without me, they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. This is the Lord saying, without me, this is what will happen to the elect. For all his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. You see? Because the elect going to be redeemed, man. It say, verse 5, O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Howbeit, he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so. Why? Because of the pride. But it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he saith, are not my princes altogether kings? This is the boasting of Esau Edom, man. Verse 7 again say, howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. And what is in Habakkuk, man? Also in Micah 2, this devil has cut off nations, man. It's in Jeremiah 51? All the nations are, because everybody has drunk of the wine of the whore, man. So it say verse 8, for he saith, Are not my princes altogether kings? You see, is not we ruling the earth right now? Do not we have the dominance of the planet? Oh, Obadiah, who is going to take us down? This is the Lord saying these devils is boasting, man. This Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah. You see? So here's these devils boasting in Isaiah 10, man. But the Lord say, where are you going to flee to? So if the Lord asking these devils these questions, where is Jake going to go, man? They're trusting these devils. Well, when you go to Revelation, the Revelations 5, maybe it's 6. I think it's 6. Let's see. So, yeah. So Revelation 6, right, it reads, verse 14, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it was rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, right, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said unto the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. There is nowhere to hide, man. Let's get it here in Isaiah. What is it? Isaiah 2, I think it is. In Isaiah 2, in verse 19, it reads, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth, for the fear of the Lord Yahweh, and for the glory of his majesty, when he arises to shake terribly the earth. So this Isaiah 2 and 19 is the same thing as seen in Revelation 6, man. It say, verse 21, to go into the cliffs of the rocks, and into the tops of the ragged rocks, you see in Amos 9, into the Carmel, for the fear of the Lord Yahweh, and for the glory of his majesty, when he arrives to shake terribly the earth, man. So they don't got nowhere to hide. But you still got Jake today trusting in these devils. But you see these devils all over the planet building bunkers, man. Got these sub yachts, right? These $1 billion sub yachts. So let's get this. In Psalms 146, in verse 3, it reads, put not your trust in princes, nor in a son of man, in whom there is no help. Talking about the so-called white man. His breath goeth forth, he returneth to his earth, in that very day his thoughts perish. Happy is he that have the God of Jacob for his help, whose hope is in the Lord his God. Okay? Which made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that therein is, which keepeth true forever. So this is Psalm 60, and verse 11, it reads, and if let's read 10. It reads, will not thou, O power, which hadst cast us off, and thou, O power, which didst not go out with our armies, give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. So you got Jake running around here trusting in the government that's going to fail them, because the government don't have nowhere to run, man. The government don't have nowhere to go, man. When Jacob trouble kick off, let's get this. In Jeremiah 8 and 20, because Christianity say that they already saved, right? Jeremiah 8 and 20 reads, the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. In Matthew 24 and 13, it reads, but he But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Right? And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So when you go to 2nd Ezra 13, start at 15, it reads, show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. For as I conceived in my understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. So hold on. It say, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. So the ones that's not left behind, what happened to them? So if you get raptured out of here before tribulation happened, that means you dead. You back in the spiritual realm, man. It said, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, because it's going to be a time of tribulation, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they coming to great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things. Hold on. Yet, 2nd Ezra 13:20. Yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. So here's Ezra saying, you want to be here to see the tribulation. What's that? Jeremiah 23 and what is that? No, hold on, let me see. It's Jeremiah 25:33. That's what it is. When it reads this, and the slain of Yahweh shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. Okay? So, back in 2nd Ezra 13, it said, 2nd Ezra 13, in verse 20, it reads, yet is it easier for him that is in danger to see, Salakia, yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world and not to see the things that happen in the last days. And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Whereas, listen, 2nd Ezra 13:22, whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure in the peril in that time have kept himself. What is that? 2 Peter 2:1. Is it a 2 Peter's? What is that? A 2 Timothy? Is that 2 Timothy when they say in the last day, great perils shall come upon the earth? Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, 2 Timothy 3:1, it reads, this know also that in the last days, perilous times shall come, man, in the last days. So these wicked Christians that think they're going to get raptured out of here before this happened, that means you died. Let's go back, 2nd Ezra 13. Let's read it again. Let's read it again, man. Because Jake think, because see what Christianity has taught you through Darwinism and all these different garbage Edomites, that you're gonna get raptured out of here before the tribulation happened. No, that's not what the scriptures say, man. 2nd Ezra 13:15. Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream, for as I conceived in my understanding. Woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand out the thing that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them, and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they coming to great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. These necessities, right? These perils and many necessities. When you go to, you can go to either Luke 21. It's also in Second Corinthians 4 about matter of fact, real quick. Let's get it here. Real quick. We're gonna go back. In Second Corinthians chapter 4, right? It mentions about perplexed, right? Because the hopeful elect, it say this is 2 Corinthians 4 and 7. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of Yahweh Shema Shai, not of us. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Let me show you what this word perplexed means. Let's go to it here in the blue letter. That word perplexed mean to be lacking food, man. Resources. Let's get it here. The word perplexed. See, this was going to happen in 2/3, man. So word perplexed.
Strong's G 639. Apareo. Apareo.
It said to be without resources, to be in straits, to be left wanting, to be embarrassed, to be in doubt, not to know which way to turn, to be at a loss with oneself, be in doubt, not to know how to decide or what to do, to be perplexed. It say be at a loss, okay? It say to be without resources, right? So when you go back to 2nd Ezra, when it say, let's read again, 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 19, it say, verse 18, now understand out of things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they coming to great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. You want to be here to see these things happen. And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril, which is danger, in that time have kept themselves. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. Knowing this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. So the ones that was dead, them was the ones that was taken. So you want to get raptured out of here? Go ahead. I want to stay here. I want to stay here. You want to get raptured out of here? Take your ass and get raptured then. It say, knowing this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead, because we got to go through the tribulations. Lord willing, man. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea, from out of the skies, right? The same is he whom God the highest have kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. Okay, so those that get left behind, let's get it here. Matthew 24 and 29. See, Christianity don't got it, man. Jay don't understand what's going on. Here is those that be left behind in those days. Matthew 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Like it just said a second earlier, you're going to crack the clouds with the chariots. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. The point is, verse 29, Matthew 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, okay, shall those that be left behind be delivered. You got to be here in Acts 14 and 22, it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of God, man. So the tribulation got to happen. So these Jakes that's following behind Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, if the Lord's saying they don't have a covering, they're going to run and hide like little punks, man. Okay? So if they are going to run and hide like some little busters, where you Jakes going to go at, man? Isaiah 13 and 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. The Lord, it's in Revelation 19, on his head with many crowns, man. Yahweh is coming to conquer all heathen nations, man. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword, man. So where is Jake going to run and hide at, man? The only one that have a covering is the hopeful elect. And if it say to be perplexed is to be without resources, well, Isaiah 65 and 13 reads, the Lord said, his servants shall eat, but they shall be hungry. His servants shall drink, but they shall be thirsty, right? So these Jakes that's following behind the so-called white man, wholeheartedly too, man, in all his philosophies, where they going to hide at? There is nowhere to hide, man. Because these devils, they ain't taking you in their bunkers with them, man. Hey, they showed you in the movie 2012, right? They showed you. They only had what? They sent out what they call it, what they call it in the movie? A lottery draft. A lottery, right? It was only the top people that they needed, like the top doctors, right? The top scientists, right? They only going to get the top people, and that's after the elite families get numbered. Okay? And in the list, let me pull this list up real quick. In this list of the globalist elites, right? I keep it in my phone. Let me just read. No, I just want to count real quick. So in this list, it's called the globalist elites, right? So you got, we say ruling families. It got Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Oppenheimers, Goldsmiths, Mercado. It's the Montefiore, Sassoons, Wahlberg, Samuels. It got Cohen, Stearns. Okay, it's a lot. Let me just count them. The main ones. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's over 60 names on this list. Over 60. You got the Gettys, you got the Reynolds, Goodyears, McDonald, Freeman. You got Disney. You got the Bush, Russell. You got Guinness. Okay. DuPonts, Vanderbilts. Okay. There's a lot of names on here, man. Okay, a lot of names on here, man. You got the Waltons, right? Coach, Mars, Johnsons, Cox, Kellogg, Perkins, S.C. Johnson. It's over 60 names on this list. And then they're going to get the top scientists and the top archaeologists and the top geologists and all these different people. They showed you in the movie 2012, man. So where is the poor, where's the meek and lowly going to be left at? I'm talking the ones that's following these devils. Where they gonna hide at, man? I just had to make some points on this because these devils said that what? God is dead, man.
God is dead, according to the World Economic Forum, who have also declared that Jesus is fake news.
Hey, so Lord wills edifying. Got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rekah Quadash. The honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of great millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all Israel, whether concepted or not. In a sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the full winds of the earth, the entire world, working on the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Abbath who are listening and learning. If you sisters who are listening and learning, always edifying. Until next time, I say shalom. Wa Abba for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema Shah continue blessing your houses. Stay prayed up. And let me close with this. Revelation 16 and 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And we know, I got to close with this. We know that these devils are going to come down with great wrath, right? Well, when they come down with great wrath, everybody that can, as a brother put up on the comment board, that Isaiah 28 is always a fire precept, man. The Isaiah 28, 14 on down to like 19, 20, man. Fire precept. Well, the ones that's following the ways of the government, that trust in the system, man. This second Ezra 16 and 68, it reads, it say, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. And this ain't talking about all of Jake. Revelation 12 and 17, it's talking about them that keep the commandments of the Lord and have the testimony of Yahushua. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And Jake already idle. So it's saying them that already idle right now, that's following the ways of the system, that trust in anything except the truth, they already idle. You can deceive them with anything, because they already idle. They already worshiping LeBron and Michael Jordan, right? They are following their leaders, your Al Sharptons and Jesse Jackasses, right? Your TD Snakes and Theflo Dollars, right? They already following these guys, man. So they already idle. It say, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. You already idle as it is. Look at Jake today, man. Instagram, everybody just whatever. You can be your own celebrity. It said they that consent unto them, which is in Isaiah 28 and 15, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and trodden on the foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. See, upon those that fear the Lord, man, because this is gonna be those perils and dangers, man, perils and necessities, like it said in 2 Ezra 13. And they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Why? Because they come against the ones that keep the commandments of the Lord and have the testimony of Yahushua. For they shall waste. Salakia, jumping too fast. It say, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So this shows you, oh, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh Yahushua is your God, and the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts, like it's saying in Revelation 12 and 17, saith the Lord power, let none of your sins weigh you down, and let none of your iniquities lift up themselves. You see? So this is showing you that you're going to have to be here to go through the tribulation, man. So, Lord was edifying. Till next time I say shalom. Wahu Baba. Hey, through for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema Shah continue blessing your houses. Stay prayed up. 8. The water for posting and precepts. The water.